Trish Robertson, you're watching Faint Signals from Vega. So I don't know if you heard about the people for Bernie Sanders, that group. It's an official group, and they've been sort of up to mischief, and they got John Kiriakou, who is a CIA whistleblower. They got him removed from the European Parliamentary Panel just recently, and their reason for it was because he was on Sputnik, Russian television. And as you may or may not know, Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont has been promoting anti-Russian propaganda for months and months now. He's even done a couple of videos. He's been on cable TV, CNN, and he's been promoting anti-Russian propaganda, and it's been disgusting, really. And I don't know why people on the quote-unquote left still seem to completely ignore the fact that he's an imperialist, that he's supported imperialist bills for a couple of decades at least. He's thrown Palestinians under the bus when he signed that letter with 100 other senators. And now this, I'm sure, I don't know, I imagine he probably knows about this, but I'm sure that they're just following suit with Senator Sanders, because Senator Sanders has been promoting anti-Russian propaganda. So why wouldn't they, at this point, the people for Bernie Sanders, why wouldn't they sort of say, well, we don't want somebody from Sputnik on a panel, somebody from Russian who's been on Russian TV, on a panel. I mean, but it's just McCarthyism at its best. The whole thing there's no basis in anything. This anti-Russian propaganda was just a distraction from Hillary Clinton's Podesta emails, and it's also a way to vilify Russia to the extent that they can one day invade or go to war with Russia, which will be nuclear, and that'll be the end of us. So the fact that Senator Bernie Sanders has been promoting anti-Russian propaganda should in some ways be seen as treasonous, because basically it could be lead to World War III, and that would be the end of all of us, and that's hardly working for the people. These people are supposed to be public servants. They're not supposed to be our rulers, and yet they behave that way. And anyway, so this recent thing of getting a CIA whistleblower who spent a couple of years in jail for whistleblowing, John Kiriakou, getting him thrown off a European panel, parliamentary panel, I think it is, because he appeared on Sputnik. I mean, you couldn't get any more McCarthyite than that. It's appalling. The red baiting. I mean, this is where we're at now. And of course, the United States government is trying to, I think they've made RT, Russian TV, sign something to say that they're a foreign agent or something now. They're trying to do their best to get rid of Russian television, because Russian TV is doing what the corporate media is supposed to be doing, which is holding the government accountable. So Russian TV is holding the United States government accountable, is addressing U.S. imperialism, and that's what the corporate U.S. media is supposed to be doing. But of course, the U.S. corporate media are just a government mouthpiece. That's all they are, and they beat the drums of war anytime they can. Anyway, so just remember that in the long list of imperialist and empire sort of endorsed behaviors, just remember this about Senator Bernie Sanders. Just another one, and yet you get people who just cannot and will not see anything wrong with Senator Bernie Sanders. Even his quote-unquote sheepdogging for the DNC, going around trying to sort of keep people sort of coming back to that corporate warmongering party that's as corrupt as all get out. It's just the left wing of the Republicans, basically. The Democrats are just the left wing of the GOP. You know, they're full on, you know, sort of conservative, neoliberal warmongers. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say. I just wanted to bring that up as yet another problem with Senator Bernie Sanders, and heavens knows why. I can't get my head around why there are so many who call themselves progressive who continue to call Senator Sanders a socialist, for goodness sake. You can't be an imperialist and a socialist. And they keep calling him progressive. I mean, he's just an imperialist. You know, what's the difference, really? Apart from the fact he has changed the narrative, you know, he has brought up some very important issues that has caused a change in people's consciousness, and that's a very important thing. And you can thank him for that, but to continue supporting him when he's really just, you know, he's just an imperialist, and he speaks out of both sides of his mouth, and he's a typical politician. He's lying. His anti-Russian propaganda is based on complete lies and could lead to World War III. How is that in any way someone that we should be supporting? You know, it's great that he did that thing, you know, change the discourse and stuff. That's great, but you don't have to keep on following him and expecting that he's going to be he's like some sort of messiah. I mean, some people talk about him like he's the second Jesus or something. You know, if I really think if he'd gotten into, if the primary hadn't been stolen from him through corruption, we'd probably still be continuing on with these imperialist wars. I can guarantee it. Well, I can't guarantee, but I mean, I imagine it would still be going on. He also knows about MMT, and yet, I mean, some people have explanations for why he doesn't talk about that, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt in some ways, but you know, there are so many problems with him. So, and I'm sure that, you know, there are not a lot would have changed if he'd gotten into office. I really don't think so, because he is a hard and fast, and always has been, an imperialist. He's no Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn is much more in a socialist sense and an anti-imperialist sense than Bernie Sanders. They're nothing alike, really. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say. So my name's Trish Roberts. You're watching Faint Signals from Bega. Till next time. Bye for now.